I actually had to reflect over the last 24 to 36 months. The topic was apt because I faced a lot of the shark pressure. Really, it is difficult being an independent agency because you're facing a lot of challengers who are much, much larger than you. And how do you differentiate in that? So I've just tried to put together a short presentation of some of the things that I've done which hopefully could be useful to you. I remember that around this time last year, E4M invited me to speak at the same conference. So I had done a version of this talk, and this is, second round 2 of it. Basically, for me also it was nice because I had to look back at the 1 year of progress saying, have things actually moved? So the perception of independence is that it could be seen as a disadvantage because you are smaller, you are constantly under threat, and because you are hungrier, people can negotiate with you better, etc. That's the perception that you might have in the marketplace. And really, if you just go to look at it, this paradox is exactly our strength. So our strength is that we are smaller, so we can move faster. Our strength is that we are hungrier, so we can innovate harder. And our strength is that we are threatened, so threat always builds better systems. And actually what I've tried to focus on in this presentation is a lot less about the mindset, because I know a lot of speakers will cover mindset, and I believe that a lot of the people in this room come with that mindset. The reason you're sitting in this room today is because you have the mindset to grow. You're already hungry, you're already nimble, so you've decided to walk into this room. So I don't want to focus so much on the psychological, I want to focus more on the structural. And I think the third point is very important, because if you are threatened, you will build systems faster. And there are 3 or 4 core systems that I believe can make an independent agency much more differentiated than any large network in today's age. So the 4 things, if we just actually go back to basic level principles, our business, I read a quote in one of my clients' office. It was by Henry Ford. It says that the Ford company only pays the salary. The money comes from the customer. So in our business, the money comes from the client. And client satisfaction is one of the most important things that we need to really focus on. So one of the challenges that I had, we had a diversified client portfolio of about 300 clients, 1,200 people dealing with 300 clients. I had no idea which client is satisfied, which client is not satisfied. So we went back to first principle saying that let's build a system that can get you client satisfaction at a 45-day level. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that. That's one. Really focusing on the clients and really focusing on the client satisfaction is the first level, and you have to measure it on multiple parameters. It's not like are you satisfied or not. So I'll talk a little bit about that. The second is joint goals with clients. So, one of the things I love about Google and Meta is they use the word, they might probably be using it with some of you, they use the word joint business plan. When the client is signing on with us, they are also effectively signing on a joint business plan with us, because they're saying that, look, together with you, I will achieve my business goals. And I think most of us, once we sign the contract, the biggest mistake that we are making is that we are not signing a joint goal with the client, and we're not measuring against that single joint goal consistently. So that's the second thing, what I call the North Star metric. The third thing is, in my organization, I had a lot of attrition because people were leaving saying that organization is not transparent. Organization is not, I don't know what my own goal is, and how does that lead to my growth versus my peers' growth versus my colleagues' growth, so on and so forth, versus my subordinates' growth. So there's no transparent system which makes a meritocratic, transparent company, which is the third thing which we focused on, calling the Schbang people box. And the fourth thing today, one of the quotes I read in Meta is that they said that, if they had the ability to capture the intelligence sitting in the corridors of the conversations of that company and codify it, then that could be a fantastic leverage for that company, for Meta. So what we basically went and did is we went and built out a version of the second brain for Schbang, because we believe that every client of ours needs to have a second brain. So every meeting that we did with them, every minutes of the meeting that we had with them, all their structures, all of that got together into an AI second brain. So I'll talk about these 4 things. These are 4 initiatives that turn independence into a moat and let you win against the big sharks. They're fairly easy to do, fairly cheap to do, but it works at first principle level. So the first thing is, as I spoke about, is CSAT loops. So we measure CSAT it's exactly 30 seconds it takes to get a CSAT from a client, 30 to 45 seconds. It's all built on a WhatsApp bot. So we measure against 10 metrics: responsiveness, brand understanding, quality of the idea, quality of the design and video, the proactivity displayed by the team, the execution of the strategy, the data effectiveness, the meeting of the business goals, the North Star metrics, and very importantly, senior leadership importance. Because involvement of senior leadership makes clients really want to work with you and build the relationship. So what we do is we do this CSAT every 45 days. We do it across all clients, across all categories. They're kind of tweaked, so SEO client will have slightly different, a generative engine optimization client will have slightly different, media client will have slightly different, creative client has slightly different, but effectively we're tweaking each of these 10 parameters across a 45-second day CSAT pulse once every 45 days. If I open up my dashboard and show it to you, I get to know across every department, across every team manager, what are the CSAT scores that they are having. What that then does is that it puts everybody on an even field. It creates a competition between people saying who is going to really work harder to serve the CSAT higher. So that's number one, which surfaces early signals before they become an issue. Because the biggest moat an agency can have is if you sign clients and you keep clients. One of the things I've learned the hard way is that signing clients and you lose them in 1.5, 2 years is the worst thing you can do for your company. So tracking the CSAT is the best way to do that because you stay on top of it. The client also knows that you're watching and you're listening. And not that there are issues everywhere. There could be issues on some part. For example, your quality of output might be good, but your data effectiveness may be low. So the client is saying, "Arey, maza nahi aa raha," but now specifically you're able to pinpoint so you can enrich each team with the right kind of support. So that's one. So it turns client expectations into actionable priorities. It builds confidence among teams and it builds confidence among clients. So that's the first step, which can be the moat of the independent agency: better feedback, better, more responsiveness on the client, which the large agencies won't be doing. So that could be one of the moats that you could build in the room. That's number one. The second moat that you could build is you could build a moat around the North Star metrics. So if I break down what is effectively a North Star metric, typically it's one metric, but I would say for the agency business, we need to have roughly 3 to 4 metrics which we constantly track with the client. Most of us do this. When the report goes to the client, the report will have 15, 16 metrics. The report will have lots because we are sitting all in a Meta world, a Google world, YouTube world. The report will have tens of things on that client. So the client is like, okay, things are going fine. But what are the 3 things that really matter to the client? So if you've got a marketing automation retainer, what really matters is the open rate. If you've got a performance retainer, what really matters is the click-through rate and the cost per install going down over time. If you've got a social retainer, what really matters is the organic reel views. So depending on what the nature of the relationship is with the client, that's the first thing that we are now sitting and doing. And it's not like we've done all, but we're now sitting and in the midst of doing that, we are agreeing on joint goals with the client, saying that these are the 3 things we will measure every month. So take CSAT, number 1, where you get the quality of the service. Take the North Star metric where you get the quality of the outcome. And suddenly the client is in a much more secure place. Because the client is then saying that, look, actually come, and it also fortifies you. Because if the client says, I have a problem, you can say that I'm only 4% behind my North Star metric agreement with you. My CSAT is consistently good. What's the challenge? So it gives you a lot more leverage in the room. It also gets your payments out faster. Atul spoke about cash flow. Typically the best way to get cash out is numbers. You can say that I've sent you 10 invoices, but the client doesn't care that they've got 10 invoices in their inbox. Ultimately, if you know that you're a more valuable partner, it's very simple. All of us pay money to one another. You hold the money of somebody who you don't think is important for you. So let that sink in for a bit, because that is where we all, and including myself, where we all fail, which is that the money comes late because the client thinks you are not important. The moment you have joint goals, the moment you have strong measurement of satisfaction, you suddenly start becoming an important partner. And then the discussions start getting elevated. So that's the second thing, the North Star metric. The third thing is you tie that back to your own people, because now you got the client satisfaction, now you got the North Star metric. You can have other metrics like, commercial target. You can have another. So for your own people, you can track the North Star metric of the clients that they are tagged to, the CSAT that they are tagged to. In addition, you can have some more metrics, like how many awards did they apply for and how much did it get converted. What's the finance target that they have. So, what's the goal that they've set versus the goal achieved, the budget that you gave them versus the budget utilized. So typically for us, it is 4 parameters. One is client success. Second is financial achievement. Third is visibility in the press and awards. And the fourth is finance, visibility, client success, and campaigns. So we are only tracking them on how many campaigns, and we've basically broken down the campaigns by what we call a sprint campaign and a major campaign. So inspired by Formula 1, I love watching Formula 1. So in Formula 1, you have a sprint race. So sprint campaign is a small campaign where it's not a large budget campaign. It's something interesting that you've done for the client, and a major campaign is that. But you can have your own variation of it. So all of that put together gives every person a real-time scorecard once every 30 days where they can see, hey, and a lot of it is, back-ending work, like pulling in the data across all the APIs into a single dashboard, pulling in the CSAT into a single dashboard. All of that, it automatically comes. Think of yourself going to school and you get a report card once every 6 months. This is for every member of your team, a report card once every month. So even if the HR person is talking to them, they're saying that, okay, actually you're a little bit behind on this, a little bit forward on this. It makes the discussions a little bit more meaningful, less redundant, less about, hey, this one said this to me, hey, this one said that to me. We've all been in the room, we all run agencies, so we know that most of the time the discussions are around what people think and what people did. And the discussions are not around outcomes. So this makes the whole organization wired around outcomes. So that's the third thing in terms of a process. And the fourth thing is, and then there's a lot of AI work that we're doing, but basically this is codifying every brand into a second brain for the client. So let's say I've got a client, bank client. I've got the last 2 years of minutes of the meeting of that bank client. I've got the last 2 years of the performance data of that bank client. I've got the, the way the meta ads run. I've got the reports. I feed all of that into what I call let's call that client AU Small Finance Bank, AU Small Finance Bank's second brain. So now if I'm going for the meeting, and I allow my teams to keep updating that second brain. So if I'm going for a meeting with a client, I say, hey, what happened in the last 2 months? But comes a reply, which is that these were all the campaigns that we did, these were the things that worked well, these were the things that didn't work well, metrics, etc. And clients also love this because they really, this is all the clients, all the questions that the clients ask, right? They want to ask, what did we do last year in Diwali? What worked well? How much did we spend? Should we really be investing in this or not? Those kind of things. Another big thing that clients are really insisting on is consumer conversations. So if you can take the consumer conversations, transcribe it using a voice transcriber, and again put it in the second brain, which becomes the view of the consumer. So all of that put together brings a sense of nimbleness and agility to the way this whole architecture can be built. So one is the CSAT, which is run on a WhatsApp. Second is the agreed North Star metrics, which are measured against a singular dashboard, which the client has access to. The third is all of that coming to our people in a single brain. And the fourth is, with all of that coming to our people in a single brain, coming to our people in a single report card, and fourth is to create a second brain around it. So this is all the work that we're doing right now as we speak on making sure that we are nimble against the sharks. And I think that's more or less my time, because because the freedom to leap higher and scale wider and land sharper with these kind of systems is what really we are trying to focus on. So we are lucky that we get the opportunity with so many clients, and I see that a lot of clients are trusting independence also, and it's a great time to be an independent agency, but we have to work harder. So that's what we are trying to work on. I hope that was useful. Thank you very much.